This month, we are talking about vitality. Vitality. Um, what does it mean to be vital? How can we embrace, welcome more vitality in our lives? And I talk about the word vitality from a place of really wanting to connect with the greater energetic source of life. So, in our bodies, we're feeling more vital from participating in our lives. In our minds, we become more vital, attuned, even perhaps enlightened, because we are nourishing ourselves with positive thinking, with optimism, with kindness, with self care, with paying attention to how we're feeling in the moment so that we might be better equipped with how to respond to life's challenges. And also, emotional vitality. We talked about that last week. How might we increase the level of emotional vitality in our lives so that we are feeling more connected, more grounded, kinder, a place where we can be kinder with one another, develop more tolerance. And on that subject this morning, I wanted to mention something that happened to me last week, where someone left an unkind comment on something, on a video I had posted on TikTok. And it wasn't outright mean, but it was definitely a little bit mean, right? So some people didn't agree with what I said, and that's fine. And what I want to say about this as we move forward in our work together this year is for us to also pay attention to our own reactivity, because it's very easy on social media to respond or to laugh at someone. So one of the things that this person did is she put an emoticon of laughing out loud, like laughing at me based on what I was suggesting in relationship to cleansing. And that's okay. We can all have our own opinions. But when you are communicating with others, whether it's online or whether it's face to face, it's harder when it's face to face to be unkind. We tend to hold back more. But because we have access to social media and we can pretty much say whatever we want, a lot of the time we are in a state of reactivity. And the reason I'm bringing this example up is because when we react to things, we actually deplete our vital energy. Because it takes energy to respond to something that you don't agree with from a place of unkindness, from a little bit of poking, hurting, using emoticons or emojis that make it look like, in this case, was laughing at me, right? That didn't feel good to me. And why would anyone want to hurt someone else? Why are we still communicating from that mindset? If you don't agree with something someone says, simply move on. But we're so caught up with having to be in these types of back and forth relationships of pointing the finger, of voicing our opinion when we don't agree with something. And it's like, really? Is it really necessary? And that's a really good question to ask before reacting to anything in your life, whether it's with your children, your spouse, your friend, your boss, even online. Ask yourself these questions. Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is your input going to add positively to the conversation? Or are you simply in a state of reactivity and having to say your piece and respond in a way that makes sure that you're combating what somebody else is saying because you think it's ridiculous? And you have a right to think that. But how are we communicating with one another on a daily basis is super important in relationship to how we want to increase our level of connection with our life force, with being vital. And it's much easier to increase your vitality when you surround yourself with people who are equally connected in this way, who really are tapping into the best parts of you, who support the best parts of you. who can see behind the eyes of the other person and encourage them in becoming a better person simply by being kind. And sometimes it's not just kindness in words, a lot of it is energetic kindness. So if you are putting money in your vitality bank, chances are you are going to be happier in life. You are going to feel more connected to life. And most importantly, because we live in these flesh suits, in these bodies, we tend to feel more vital in our bodies, right? So I really wanted to move into this conversation today and really look at three main components of how to increase vitality in our lives through physical fitness, through postural alignment, and how postural alignment affects your energetic level of vitality in your life. Good morning, Sabi. Welcome. Thank you for being here. If anybody else is here that wants to say hi in the comments, it's always great to know who's here. It helps me to feel even more vital because we can have an exchange, a discussion. And this is what these lives are about, for you to ask questions, to share, and to connect, and also to learn how to communicate from this place of vital energy. Good morning, Janet. Lovely to have you here. So welcome, everyone. Okay, so I wanted to go into a little bit of a nutshell and break down this relationship with your postural alignment in relationship to vitality. First of all, we all know that exercise is good for us. We all know that if we go out into the world and we move, the tendency is our adrenaline is going to increase. We're going to um, ignite endorphins in our body, right? So as soon as we get into physical activity, this is the first piece of getting more vital. And that can look like, for example, in New York today, it's chilly, it's cold, it's colder. And what's really great about the cold is that when we go outside and we walk in the cold, we tend to walk a little bit more quickly than usual because it's chilly. And so that's very basic physical fitness 101 for us to take a moment every single day. Really commit to this year. Get outside, go for a 15-minute walk every day. If we don't have the time to take a 15-minute walk every day, what are we saying, right? What are we saying? That we don't have time to be outside and to actually energize our bodies. And as soon as you start to walk, of course, now you're moving into lubricating your connective tissue, you're lubricating your fascial system. So as soon as you start to get into movement, there are two ways that you can activate your fascial system: through movement, stretching, rolling, walking, running. All of this gets us moving. And the other one is through touch. So if you get body work, if you get touched, and if in particular, if you do structural integration body work, which is what I do in my office in New York City, you're really assisting your fascial system to lengthen, hydrate, and to remove adhesions that form in the body simply because we're humans, and adhesions form from either sitting for too long a time or being in a certain position for too long a time. And those adhesions happen everywhere in the body. They can happen in your neck, they can happen in your jaw, they happen in your cranium, in your viscera, around your heart, your liver, your spleen, your pancreas, your small intestine. Adhesions can occur anywhere in the body, which is why movement is your number one go-to to assist you in releasing these types of adhesions. And I have more information on that on my YouTube channel. There's a few videos there with rolling, exercising, an 8-minute routine that I did to assist us in really getting the energy and the fluids flowing inside of our body. So first we move. We either roll, we stretch, we go for a walk, and then we want to start to pay attention to our posture. especially for those of us who might have some curvatures in our spine, right? Some unusual curvatures, sometimes known as scoliosis. If you're suffering from scoliosis, understand that that manifestation in your spine also affects the front line of your spine. And the front line of your spine is where all of your organs connect, right? It's also a big part of how your vagus nerve travels through the body, your nervous system overall. So it's really important for us to start to understand that when our bodies are free, hydrated, and that you don't have stickiness, adhesions inside of your body that eventually manifest on the outside of your body, which could look like, by the way, frozen shoulder. If you've ever heard of this, if you have TMJ, transmandibular joint adhesions or stuckness, these are all places that you can start to slowly lubricate by doing gentle exercises that help you into becoming more aligned, posturally released, so that you might feel more connected in your body, less pain, more freedom of movement. So the postural alignment piece is super important. And that relates, of course, to structural integration and fascial release. Because if your connective tissue is moving fluidly in your body, the tendency is that you will automatically be more in alignment yourself. So maybe some of you suffer a little bit from, a little bit of a head forward posture, or maybe shoulders forward posture. And for some others, there's a lot of this upright, pushing back posture and compensating by moving your head forward. For some of us, if you have a curvature in your spine or you suffer from scoliosis, you will notice that your rib cage might go more to one side than the other. That is because your spine has a rotational pattern in it. So if your spine is rotating, your body is going to rotate with it. You see how it's going to move either to the left or right. Usually, if there is scoliosis in the body, the scoliosis goes to the right of the body. It rotates into the right side, and that is connected, directly connected to the organ of the liver. So the liver on your right side gets affected by this curvature in the spine. So what's the solution to assist you in releasing tension in your back if you have a curvature is to work on the organs. Get a professional osteopath, a visceral manipulation expert, or a structural integration expert, and we can help you by releasing tension and adhesions in your organs, in this case, the liver, to bring some relief into that spinal rotation. Now, what happens when you release the liver and you get release in the spinal rotation? For many people, they increase the facility of digesting their food. Digestive system improves. Their bowel movements improve because think about it. If your spine is rotated in your body, everything else is being affected in your body, your organs, and not just the liver, your stomach, your spleen, your small intestine, your colon, everything gets affected. So this is really important to understand that there is a continuum of communication within your body, that if one thing is out of alignment, everything else is going to suffer. So how do we get into proper alignment? Number one, physical fitness, physical activity. Commit to a movement regimen every day. And what I mean by that is you don't have to go to the gym and lift weights, although that's great. What I'm talking about is first create some fluidity in your body, right? So again, you can look at the videos that I've done before and get in relationship to this very simple way of moving, especially in the body, in the morning rather. because the morning time is when we'll get up and we'll feel a little bit of the cricks and creaks arising in our bodies. So, number one, drink a very tall glass of water. Preferably, what I like is hot water with lemon. It really helps to cleanse and it makes me feel good. There's a sense of connection and security in my body when I have my hot water and lemon. Sometimes I add turmeric or I'll have some tinctures. Then I immediately get some sunlight. I go outside and I take a walk. Then I come back in and I'll do 15 to 20 minutes of rolling on my foam roller or simply stretching. And already my level of vitality increases. This is not complicated, but how many of us don't do it because we just figure we don't have the extra 15, 30 minutes in the morning? If you have a very, very busy lifestyle, what I would suggest is that you start getting up 10 minutes earlier. Just 10 minutes, then you increase it to 15 minutes. And even if it's just 15 minutes, to really start your day by engaging physically, because this is the most important part of your life is your body. And you know that's true because as soon as we have a cold or something breaks in our bodies, breaks down, if we have COVID, if we have indigestion, if we had food poisoning, anything that arises within the body, we're out of commission. So the proof is in the pudding. Your body is your most important investment in your life. Therefore, being able to cultivate a relationship with vitality, vital energy, is really the most important thing. Because if your body, if you're healthy and if you're vital, if you're feeling like there's energy in your body and you're feeling good, you can do anything. You can begin again. You can draw again. You can find a job again. You can build your business again. You can begin again. But if you're sick, if your body is not well and you don't have vital energy coursing through your body and connected to the greater energetic whole, you're not going to be able to move forward. It's just that simple. So now your physical posture. Let's go back to physicality and postural alignment. So I want to share with you a very simple tool. Actually, two very simple tools to assist you in beginning and starting to understand what this looks like. So from the very top of your head, you might want to envision a very beautiful golden silk thread from the very top of your head that invites you to lengthen from the top of your head. Now notice, I'm not talking about pushing the shoulders back. Not at all. It's just a very simple lengthening from the top of head. So notice, if I'm just like if I'm not thinking about it, I'm just naturally standing like this. Then I'm going to take that thread and I'm going to gently align, lengthen from top of head. It's very, very subtle and makes a huge difference in your posture. So again, just standing naturally. Standing naturally, I have a normal level of compression in my body, especially at the rib cage. So I'm just kind of standing normally here. My pelvis is a little bit rotated forward. And now with the simple cue of lengthening from the top of my head, so here I am, I'm just going to lengthen. Notice my posture. I'm just lengthening ever so slightly. That's step number one. Just think of your golden silk thread from the top of your head, lengthening, and think about the front of your spine. That's a good trick to prevent you from thinking of the back of your spine and pushing your shoulders back. We don't want to do the army stance. We simply want to align from the front of the spine. The second cue that might be helpful to you is to think of, again, that golden silk thread from your heart, from the center of your sternum, from your chest. And what we want to do here is think of this thread. Let me lower this a little bit. Think of this thread from the center of your heart going up to a 45-degree angle. So not up here, right? We don't want to go up here, but a gentle invitation towards a 45-degree angle. And if you do that with me right now, let me know how that feels in your body, of course. And at the same time, notice it's very simple, but it helps to lengthen and lighten up the chest as opposed to this. We often find ourselves losing energy here. So from the little thread, you just gently imagine being pulled forward 45 degrees. So now you have two ways of doing this, from the heart and from the top of your head, right? So you're gently lengthening from top of head and moving the heart forward, right? So these two very simple cues will assist you in finding some levity in your upper body. And when there is levity in your body, that invites more vital energy. Very simple cues. And you can do these as you're taking your walk in the morning. I do them throughout the day walking in my own home. And the reason why this is important is because over time, what tends to happen is our rib cage tends to compress. So if our rib cage tends to compress, that means our lungs and our diaphragm also gets compressed. So taking huge inhalations, exhalations really helps. That's your third cue. Janet says, I like how that sends my shoulders back a little. Feels better. Yes, thank you, Janet. So the idea, again, is to think about gravity as your friend. Don't think about gravity as something that pushes you down. In fact, gravity holds us up, because if we weren't being held up by gravity, if there was no more gravity, one of the beliefs or one of the common ideas out there is that we'd be flat, right? You know, in cartoons, they would show that a lot. Like if there's no more gravity, you just compress and fall to the ground. Actually, in quantum physics, when they express where there might be no gravity in our stratosphere, in our system on planet Earth, what would happen is that we'd be spinning in circles. So gravity is not necessarily something that pushes us down. Yes, there is a relationship with gravitational space, but the way that I'd like for you to envision the possibility of lengthening and moving from an open heart and spine is that actually gravity is assisting you in keeping yourself up, that you are in relationship with gravity. Remember that everything I teach and speak about is about relationship, the relationship of the human systems. Today, we're talking about postural vitality. How might you increase your level of postural vitality? And if you haven't had a structural integration session, look it up, Google it in your area, find a practitioner, because I will tell you the changes that you will experience from being aligned through a fascial perspective, removing adhesions in between your ribs, around your clavicle, in your upper rib cage, around the diaphragm, will open up an entire new vital possibility for you in life. It's incredible what it does. It's pretty much magical. I just had a client the other day sharing that with me. And this client's been coming to me every week for years because it's part of their maintenance to start to shift your mindset around waiting for something to break down and instead becoming proactive in communicating with your body and listening. And sometimes we don't listen and we forget, and we start to get lower back pain. You start to have digestive problems. Your feet start to swell. Your knees start to buckle or hurt. Invest in increasing the level of vital energy in your body, in your life. And you do that. One of the ways you do that is by getting a structural integration session, learning how to move with more ease, committing yourself to a morning simple regimen so that you might create more hydration in your lymphatic and in your fascial system, so that inevitably, when you have more freedom, no adhesions in the body, your vitality shoots up. So if you tend to be depressed, if you're struggling with depression, low-grade depression, if you're a very emotional person, if you have outbursts of emotions, if you have a hard time managing your emotions with another person, just remember, when you're doing this work of coming back to present awareness, when you are rolling, when you are stretching, when you are taking a walk in the morning, this helps to bring you back to this moment. This is the only way to really deal, in my opinion, to really deal with difficult emotions. We need to practice coming back to our center, which is relationally connected to how you feel in your body, how you stand in your body, how you communicate with people, how you're thinking about yourself on any given day. If you have a confrontation, are you able to just sit with it and let it pass through your body and then respond maybe a day, 2 or 3 later, instead of moving into a state of reactivity, which tightens, rigidifies your fascial system, therefore creating more adhesions in your body. Sabi says, I appreciate that you said to envision a silk golden line in that tool, as I feel this soft material silk does not feel intrusive in any way. It is very helpful. Awesome. Thank you, Sabi. Yes. So the golden silk thread, right? And even give your golden silk thread a little bounce, make it flexible, because this is what happens in the body. This is why I'm encouraging you to move. Qigong, Tai Chi, gentle stretching, foam rolling, even bouncing on a little trampoline, going out for a walk, just gently rotating, transverse motion, your arms, slowly start to get into a movement regimen, because as soon as you do that, it will lubricate your fascial system. And you can imagine your fascial system like these beautiful highways of energetic light moving through your body. The fascia in the body is beautiful. There are many different types of fascial sheathings and textures. And as soon as this system of communication is in relationship with hydration, which you receive through movement, it starts to send all of this information throughout your body through your electrical system, which in turn increases your level of vitality in life. I don't think that there's anything more important than feeling vital in our lives. It's very easy when we are emotionally distraught to lose connection with our posture, with our system. We start to feel compressed in our bodies. So again, if you're having issues with if you have scoliosis, if you have curvature of the spine issues, if you have neck issues, if your doctor says your bone density is beginning to degenerate, just know that that's kind of normal. All of us will go through bone degeneration. So we want to get a little bit more specific about what does that mean. So if ever you go to your GP or your doctor and they tell you something like this, ask more questions. What's the percentage of bone degeneration? What can I do to increase the quality of bone degeneration without using pharmaceuticals? Weight bearing exercises is one example. Pilates is another example. Pilates is excellent to assist us in rebuilding strength in our bodies, especially women who are going through perimenopause or menopause. So to start to really focus on, what do you need to do for yourself if you're having trouble sleeping, for example? If you're not sleeping well, your level of vitality will decrease and you will feel pain throughout your body. And the worst part about it is that you start to become less and less productive doing the things you love. You don't have the energy for it anymore. So your posture signifies, demonstrates the relationship you have with yourself. Your posture signifies, demonstrates the relationship you have with yourself. If you have poor posture, it's an indication that you're probably treating yourself poorly in that area of your life. And you know, one area of your life affects all areas of your life. especially when it comes to your body, to your mind, to your spirit, and to your emotions. So you want to start to get curious around postural alignment and how learning how to stand and how to get help in releasing adhesions in your body will assist you in increasing your level of vitality, therefore happier, more happiness in your life, less confrontation, a more relaxed state of being, more facility in communicating difficult things, learning to be more tolerant towards others, developing loving kindness towards self, taking time to be in your life as opposed to being pulled out in every direction from all of the global chaos that's happening in this moment. It's not an easy time to be alive. Am I right? There's a lot going on. So learning to be in relationship with your body and really getting very specific about how to increase postural alignment around the hips, around your legs, around your feet, around your lower back is going to assist you in increasing your level of vitality, your energetic level, feeling overall a sense of contentment, of connection in your life, and really moving forward with less problems, less issues, less concerns, less worries. We all have the capacity to do this. All I'm suggesting is that you invest a little bit of time every day in paying attention, because you can definitely get rid of all of these issues that are related to tightness. When we're holding on, we're kind of guarding down, creating all of this dryness in our system, creating rigidity in our muscles and connective and lymphatic tissue, and therefore prohibiting us from being in full relationship with our breath, with the possibilities that life has for us, with being able to see beyond what's right in front of us, to have a vision of insight, and to be able to move into the next level of our lives from a place of vital energy. Sabi says, for people who don't take much sunlight, can luminotherapy lamp help for vitality? Yes, thank you, Sabi. Great question. So for some reason, if some people can't get outside for much sunlight, yes, there are very specific lamps that are really very good to assist people with getting more light in their everyday. So thank you, Sabi. That's a great question. Luminotherapy, you can Google that and find some source, effective source. Actually, I should Google it myself so I can help you identify some better brands that you can get. But certainly, if you're getting more light inside your home, if for some reason you can't go outside, that will also help, not just with your vitality, with your mood levels, because that affects our nervous system directly. So, and it also affects our eyesight directly. So the more you have good type of light in your life, if you can't get outside, you can definitely get lamps for inside that will help you to increase your level of vitality and energy. All right, my friends. So I hope this was helpful. Just wanted to give you a little insight around this. We are going to move into our last session of vitality next Monday. And I'm talking about vitality next week in relationship to our environment. Vital environment. Who do you surround yourself with in terms of vitality, vital energy? People, animals, careers, creative outlets. How is your environment either supporting you or diminishing the level of vitality in your life? So that's where we're moving into next Monday. This Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, I am teaching a class for the Heller Work organization, specifically on the neck and head. So I'm doing a demonstration of actual body work around how to release, lengthen, and engage with the face, the mouth, the nose, the cranium, and your neck. So if you are someone who is interested in learning more about this part of your body, how to gain more vitality by learning how the muscles of your neck work, how they're interrelated with your tongue, with your mouth, with your breath, breath, your airways, how you're breathing. If you're someone who suffers from migraines or headaches or poor eyesight or even tinnitus, or you're having problems with your hearing, I'm going to cover pretty much all of that in a 2-hour class on Sunday, January 28th from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. I will put the link in this in the comments on this YouTube link, as well as in our Facebook group. So if you want to learn more about this, I'm integrating a little bit of history around the neck and head, a little bit of metaphysical anatomy. What does it mean when we have a tight throat, or we can't swallow properly, or we're continuously having cervical spine issues? There's a whole slew of reasons that are also metaphysically connected, meaning meta, beyond the physicality. Metaphysics deals with emotion and belief systems that can create internal adhesions and restrictions and rigidity in the body. So I hope that you can join me this coming Sunday for my class on the neck and head. And on Monday, I will be talking about the relationship of how we can increase vitality in our lives in relationship with our environment. Any questions, you can always reach out to me. You can visit my website, artofalignmentacademy.com, sign up for my newsletter. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if this is interesting to you. And please invite people that you know to subscribe. It really helps me get the algorithms working and to get my information out into the world with more ease. So I thank you in advance for your support. Thank you for being with me here today. Thank you, Janet. Great. I hope you can make it on the Sunday class. I will post it for you here on the YouTube channel and on my Facebook group. Sabi says, will there be a replay of this class about neck and head for people who can attend and register? Yes, you can purchase the replay that will be listed on the, I think on the Hello Work website, but you can always reach out to me and I'll definitely publicize it on my own social media, so that you might be able to attend. Thank you for being here. Much love to all of you. Have a wonderful day. Take good care of your body. Make sure you move this week. Increase your level of vitality. Do stuff you love. Get creative. Laugh out loud. And I will see you next week. Same place, same time. Bye for now. Take care, everyone.